Walmart, I guess, will be out there far enough, but that it'll be okay, I think. But that's our biggest asset, is that Main Street is there and not on one of our big streets. So that helps us out a lot. Was that the... I'm sorry. Was that the...
Yes, maintaining the city's unique character and sense of community.
Oh, and the other thing, did you give me 15 seconds? Okay. The other thing is small businesses, and you can't have a small town atmosphere without small businesses, and I've run one, and I know what regulation and fees do to them.
Thanks, sir. When that bell goes off, they're not going to bring the hook out. They'll probably give you a couple of seconds to finish your thought.
Just trying to follow the rules. That's why I don't like rules.
Yeah, thank you. Ms. Perkins.
We're going to hear it again. Policies and procedures. You set policies for businesses, residents moving in, just like your homeowners association set up for their communities. If you can only have a certain kind of fence, or you have to build a certain type of architecture, all of that, you set these policies and you put them in place and you enforce them, so that any businesses wanting to come in, they have to comply with what we have. We don't bend to them.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Wilford.
Dwayne, I gotta agree with you one time tonight, so I'll do it now.
Do it now.
The geography is wonderful here. Geography does take care of a lot of our growth problems, and I'm curious to see what's going to happen going south on 441. Attending city commissions over the last 16 months, there's land use development discussions all the time. There's all sorts of things being planned on 441. So I think the presentations I've seen, they have taken to account a lot of future growth issues. And if they keep doing that and monitor that quite well as a city commissioner, that's going to be one of my main concerns, is how we do manage future growth. And I certainly will make that one of my main priorities, that we stay the aesthetically beautiful community that we are.
Thank you very much. Mr. Bukhari is next.
Back late last year sometime, the City Commission and the Planning and Zoning Board sat down for a workshop to go over the year process, or the evaluation appraisal report. And one of the 8 items that came up that the city looked for to lay out for our future is strengthening small business. And small businesses are one of the charms of this community. I'd also argue that recreation here is another charm of this community, and it's one of our bigger ones. And it's the reason why we have the World Series coming here in August. The city has to continue to work with the Chamber of Commerce to strengthen small businesses. Traffic is definitely an issue, and money, you would think, could cure all things. We could just build a bypass, and we could do this, and we could change our interchange and do all this stuff, but that's not feasible. We have to come with common sense solutions to find a way to address traffic concerns and work with FDOT and other agencies to make sure we're addressing those issues. Keeping small businesses downtown, the Downtown Redevelopment Board has done a great job keeping this community beautiful. Hal does a great job with the Recreation Department, so thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Canning.
Could you repeat the question so I can be sure that I'm answering the question?
I sure can. Yes, sir. How do you plan to manage future growth in Alachua while maintaining the city's unique character and sense of community?
Well, that is something that has concerned me since I moved here, because I like to have a long view of the community I'm working in. I know that there's a lot of impulses that are short-term, with developments that are coming along because somebody has a particular piece of land. They want to develop it, they want to make some money, they have a way of doing it, but it doesn't necessarily fit in with the long-term health of a community. And we have a lot of communities in Florida that have been developed like that, and I don't want to see that happen to Alachua. So I think we all have a responsibility. The commission and the citizens in the community have a responsibility to be protecting the quality of life for the existing residents and the existing small businesses as we're welcoming new business and new residents. And I think that's part of the reason why I would support a big box ordinance. When we had when we had the visioning charrette a few years ago, one of the things that was on the top of the list was no big boxes. Well, we've got one at Lowe's and we got another one coming, and we have to think about the scale of our economy and how many big boxes can we support. We want retail, we want to keep our small businesses healthy. So I think we need to look at this long term and plan traffic and our economic development so that it stays in line with our plan.
Thank you very much, sir. Next question is from the audience, and it's directed first to Ms. Perkins. We have a wonderful rec program here in Alachua for our children. Do you feel that cultural arts, performing arts, and cultivating the gifts of our artistic children are as important as sports and recreation? And if so, would you agree to fund such a program?
Can I have everybody's 5 minutes on this one? I do agree that we have to look at the total child. Personally, I had to send my child to school in Gainesville so that she could get the cultural enrichment that she needed. She attended a magnet school for the arts. We need to expand our wonderful recreation department because my children have all participated in that as well. I envision seeing a division of recreation and cultural affairs for the city of Alachua. And it does not have to really cost the city that much. We have to give provide support as far as location, places for a lot of nonprofits that are already here. The studio, Jackson's African American Theater, Alachua's Children's Theater, and we just need to encourage and support those and faith-based initiatives in order to grow our cultural affairs department.
Thank you very much. Mr. Wilford.
I serve on the Head Start Policy Council for Alachua County School Board, and one of the things with the 3 and 4-year-olds is they include a lot of cultural type activities in their training, teach them early age. I think we need to work with the school board to ensure they're part of this process, the faith-based community as a volunteer network, and I think as far as funding issues like that may not be one of the major areas that the city could get involved with funding, because if we start funding those type of things, which I totally agree with, but the idea is, what else are we going to fund? Social services program. I think, we talk about infrastructure, that we're going to have to address those issues. So I think we need to, our Alachua County School Board, which is supposed to support us, the faith-based groups, the other volunteer networks, and I think if we get those involved to make it more of a volunteerism type effort, I think we can make culture grow very much in Alachua.
Thanks, sir. And Mr. Mills?
We are lacking in that, and I think it is important, and I would love to see more of it. I actually volunteered at the Harn as a docent and in the Bishop Study Center there. So not just performing arts, but all arts. I would love to see more of. Should we fund it? It's way down on my list, sorry to say. It goes fire, safety, infrastructure, utilities. I would say do the volunteers that the rec center does. One of the reasons the rec center gets funding is that hundreds of people give thousands of hours to that rec center. I would like to see it the same way, and I would be happy to help too if somebody knows what they're doing and wants to try it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Mr. Canning.
I would have to agree that I think the model for the rec center would apply to this as well, and I'd like to second everything that Ms. Perkins said about the importance. This is not a luxury in a community. This is a necessity. This is an essential part of having a healthy community, and I think when you see young people, so many